Shalom Israel, Shalom. This is Brother Kwamel. I just want to give a call, hello, to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom to all the brothers out there in this truth. And shalom to all the sisters out there in this truth. So today's video is, a little history I wanted to touch on. The topic of this video is going to be King Saul, the first king of Israel. He's from the tribe of Benjamin. He might have been he's from the tribe of Benjamin, which are the so-called West Indian blacks. King Saul could have been, your bad man, your bad man, your Jamaican. Could have been a Guyanese or Trinidadian. So King Saul's from the tribe of Benjamin, which are the West Indian blacks. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about King Saul, the mighty acts he did, and the downfall of King Saul. Because King Saul was the first king of Israel, and he reigned for a certain amount of time, but then he went off and transgressed the commandments of the Lord, and the Lord had to cut him out and root him out. So, bear with me real quick. Let me get my Bible, and let me go to Saul. So bear with me real quick. We're going to get it started on who was King Saul. And we're going to talk about King Saul. Saul, first king of Israel, son of Kish, a Benjamite, anointed by King Samuel. I'm reading from the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. It's a Bible dictionary. Every word that is in the Bible is in this Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. You can get off of Amazon or on the internet, and it gives you the definition of words, gives you the Hebrew terms and the Greek terms. It's a very great book. First king of Israel, son of Kish, Benjamite, anointed by King Samuel. Salakia, anointed king by Samuel. Chosen king by Israelites. Defeated Israel enemies, so he was killing Israel's enemies, He was a mighty man. He was killing the Ammonites, which are the Japanese, the Philistines, the Moabites, and the Amalekites. And then he went off and disobeyed Yahweh, and the Lord rejected him, And then after that, it says, jealous of David because of his greater popularity and sought to kill him. And then it says, ended his own life after being wounded in the battle. And yeah, that's it. And next to it, the reason why how I was reading it is because it says the terms. It gives you some words, and then it gives you, like how it says a Benjamin anointed king by Samuel. It gives you the where in the scripture it tells you that he's anointed king by Samuel. But I didn't read the scripture because I have it in my notes. And, I'm going to bring it out. And, Salakia, one more thing before I even start. King Saul's kingdom was from like 1020 BC to like 1000 BC. Yeah, so that was when his kingdom was. So, let's get King Saul. I'm going to start at 1 Samuel. Because Saul was a mighty man, But unfortunately, he went off. And he transgressed the commandments of the Lord. So, this video may be a little long. Because I wanted to get in a lot. So, this is 1 Samuel, chapter 8. This is chapter 8? Yeah, 1 Samuel, chapter 8, verse... I'm going to start at Salakia, bear with me. Verse 1. And it came to pass, when Samuel was old, that he made his sons judges over Israel. Salakia. So now, breaking on King Saul, I'm starting at 1 Samuel chapter 8. you know. So if you want to understand more about him, you can read the book of First Samuel. It says, First Samuel chapter 8, verse 1, and it came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his sons judges over Israel. Now the sons of his firstborn, Joel, and the name of second, Abiah, they were judges in Beersheba. And his sons walked not in his ways. So his sons, Samuel's sons, were wicked. You know, they was going off and doing all types of wickedness. It says, and his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre, which is money, and took bribes and perverted judgment. Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah. Verse 5, and said unto him, so the elders of Israel came unto Samuel, was like, yo, Samuel, behold, thou art old. So like, Samuel, you old as hell. Well, they didn't say you old as hell, but they probably said, Samuel, you old, man, you old. And it says, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. And they like, your sons are, they probably telling Samuel, yo, Samuel, your sons are wicked. You know, they're doing all types of wickedness. And it says, now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. So they told Samuel, we want a king to judge us, you know. Because back then, all the other nations had kings. And Israel, at that time, wanted a king. They wanted to be just like the nations. And this is what Samuel said. Verse 6, but the thing displeased Samuel, when they said, give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Samuel, hearken unto the ways of the people and all that they say unto them, for they have not rejected thee. So the Lord saying, Samuel, they didn't reject you, but they have rejected me. Well, not me. The Lord is saying that Israel rejected the Lord by wanting the king to reign over them, you know, when their king was the Lord, if you have ears to hear. And it says that I should not reign over them. Verse 8, according to all the works which they have done to the day that I brought them up out of Egypt, even unto this day with which they have forsaken me and served other gods, so do they also unto me. So you had some Israelites that were going off, you know, when the Lord brought them out of Egypt, and they were serving other gods, Baalim, Molech. You know, you can read about that in Exodus and Judges. Verse 9, now therefore hearken unto their voice, howbeit, yet protest solemnly unto them, and show them the manner of the king that shall reign over them. So, verse 10, and Samuel told all the words of the Lord unto the people, that asked of him a king. And he said, this will be the manner of the king that shall reign over you. He will take your sons, and appoint them for himself, for his chariots, and to be his horsemen, and some shall run before his chariots. And he will appoint him captains over thousands, and captains over fifties, and will set them to ear his ground, and to reap his harvest, and to make his instruments of war, and instruments of his chariots. So you hear this attribute to this king? My nose is kind of stuffy, Salakia. There's no tissue around. And he will take your daughters to be confectionaries, meaning cooks, and to be cooks and to be bakers. And he will take your fields and your vineyards and your olive yards, even the best of them, and give them to his servants. I'm going to jump down to verse 19. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel, and they said, nay, but we will have a king over us, that we also may be like all the nations, that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles. So the reason why Israel wanted a king, because they wanted a king to fight their battles and to judge them, and they wanted to be like the nation at that time. Israel was going off. And Samuel heard all the words of the people, and he rehearsed them in the ears of the Lord. And the Lord said to Samuel, hearken unto their voice, and make them a king. And Samuel said unto the men of Israel, go ye every man unto his city. So basically the Lord told Samuel to, hearken unto them, give them a king. So this is 1 Samuel chapter 9. We'll start at verse 1. Now there was a man in Benjamin whose name was Kish, the son of Abiel, the son of Zerior, the son of Bechorath, the son of Aphiv, a Benjamite, a mighty man of power. So Kish was a mighty man of power. He was a strong man, a valiant man. He was a warrior from the tribe of Benjamin, so-called West Indian blacks. And he had a son whose name was Saul, a choice young man, and a goodly, godly. Salakia, this is the Old English. I think it says Anagali. Let me make sure I'm reading it right. Oh, and he had a son whose name was Saul, a choice young man and a goodly, And there was not among the children of Israel a goodly person than he, for his shoulders upward, he was higher than any of the people. So Saul was a very tall man. He was higher than any of the people, and from shoulders upward, he was a man of great stature. So he conducted himself in a righteous way, basically. Verse 3. And the ashes of Kish, Saul's father, were lost. And Kish said to Saul his son, take now one of the servants with thee, and arise, go seek the ashes. So, Kish, Saul's father, had donkeys, and he lost the donkeys, basically. And he told Saul, look, you gotta go look for the donkeys, man. We need them. So basically, what this is going to is Saul was going to come across Samuel, and Samuel was going to anoint Saul to be king over Israel. That's how the Lord set it up. A man's goings is of the way of the Lord. Basically, roughly paraphrasing Proverbs 20 verse 24. And it says, 1 Samuel chapter 9 verse 4, and he passed through Mount Ephraim and passed through the land of Shalish, but they found them not. Then they passed through the land of Shalem, and there they were not. So they was looking all over for the donkeys. And he passed through the land of the Benjamites, but they found them not. So, verse 6. And he said unto him, behold, now there is a city. Oh, Salakia, I didn't read verse 5. My nose is bothering me, so I'm a little bugged out. Verse 5. And when they were come to the land of Zuph, Saul said to his servant that was with him, come, and let us return, lest my father leave caring for the asses, and take thought of us. So Saul told his servant, like, yo, man, we can't find the donkeys. Let's just go back home before my dad be like, what happened to Saul and my servants, and he leaves the other donkeys. And verse 6, and the servant said unto Saul, behold, now there is in the city a man of Yahweh, and he is an honorable man. They're talking about Samuel. All that he saith surely come to pass, because Samuel was a seer. And a seer meant a prophet, Now let us go thither. Peradventure he can show us our way that we should go. So they was like, yo, let us go seek this man of the Lord and see what he's going to tell us. What great things he could tell us or show us. Then said Saul to his servant, behold, if we go, where shall we bring the man? So Saul like, yo, if we go seek this man of the Lord, what are we going to bring him? We have to bring him something. He's a mighty man of the Lord. For the bread is spent in our vessels, and there is not a present to bring to the man of God. What have we? So they're like, yo, we barely got any bread, and we barely got anything to bring this man of the Lord. What have we? Like, what are we going to do? And then servant answered Saul, verse 8, again and said, behold, I have here at hand the fourth part of a shekel of silver. So they're like money. That I would give to the man of God to tell us our way. So they was like coming up to with some idea to bring something to Samuel. So let me get Proverbs chapter 20, because Salaki, I didn't read that. I didn't say it correctly. So this is Proverbs chapter 20, verse 24. A man's goings are of the Lord. So man's goings are of the Lord. So the Lord put it in Saul's spirit to, basically the Lord sent Saul and his servant on his journey to seek for the asses, for the donkeys, and for them to not find them. And the Lord put it in his spirit to be like, you know what? Let's just go seek this man, the Lord that we heard about. So it says, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man that understand his own way? So man's goings are of the Lord. How then can a man understand his own way? Like for example, when you wake up and you walk down to Nostrand Avenue, and then you make a left, and then you go in the pizza store. The Lord put in your spirit to wake up and probably want to go to Nostrand Avenue and get that pizza, that nice barbecue chicken pizza, man. So let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 9. I'm gonna just jump to verse 15. Now the Lord had told Samuel in his ear a day before Saul came saying, so the Lord told Samuel, like, look, the man that I want you to anoint to be king is gonna come to look for you. Verse 16, tomorrow about this time I will send thee a man out of the land of Benjamin. So like I said, man's goings are of the Lord. And thou shalt anoint him to be captain over my people Israel, that he may save my people out of the hand of the Philistines. For I have looked upon my people, because a cry is come upon me. So at that time, Israel is being distressed by the Philistines. Verse 17, and when Samuel saw Saul, the Lord said unto him, behold, the man who I spake to thee of this same shall reign over my people. Then Saul drew near to Samuel and again said, tell me, I pray thee, where to see his house is. So Saul kind of came to Samuel, was like, where's the prophet, this man, the Lord that we're looking for? And this is what Samuel said. And Samuel answered Saul and said, I am the seer. So Samuel was like, I'm the prophet that you're looking for. I'm the man, the Lord. Go up before me into the high place, for ye shall eat with me today, and tomorrow I will let thee go, and will tell thee all that is in thy heart. So Samuel told Saul, look, go up to the high place, where the priest will be at, and we're going to eat, we're going to have a nice meal, and I'm going to tell you the next day all that is in your heart. Verse 20, and as for thy ashes that were lost, so the ashes that Saul was seeking for, he said, 3 days ago, set not thy mind upon them, for they are found. So damn, these ashes were gone for 3 days, man. And on whom is all that the desire of Israel? Is it not on thee and all thy father's house? And Saul answered and said, am I not a Benjamite? Saul was like, yo, I'm just a Benjamite, man. And he said, the smallest of the tribes of Israel. He was like, I'm not the smallest of the tribe of Israel. And my family, the least of the families of the tribe of Benjamin. Saul was like, what you mean you want to tell me all that is in my heart? What you talking about? Why you want to eat a meal with me? I'm at the bottom, basically. Well, not literally at the bottom, but like the smallest, Saul was being humble. And he said, wherefore then speakest thou so to me? Saul basically is probably saying like, yo, you're a man of the Lord. Why are you speaking to me in such a kind manner? So I'm going to stop there. And you can read more about that. So I'm going to jump down. I'm going to go to 1 Samuel chapter 10, verse 1. Then Samuel took a vial of oil and poured it upon his head and kissed him. So Samuel, a priest, poured a vial of oil on his head. He kissed him. And said, is it not because the Lord hath anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance? So basically, verse 21 was basically Samuel answered Saul. When Saul said, yo, why are you speaking to me in such a nice manner? Samuel told him, look, the Lord anointed you to be king over Israel. And he anointed him to be king over Israel. So I'm going to jump down to verse 17. 1 Samuel chapter 10, verse 17. And Samuel called the people together unto the Lord to Mizpah. and said unto the children of Israel, Thus said the Lord God of Israel, I brought up Israel out of Egypt, and delivered you out of the hands of the Egyptians, and out of the hands of all the kingdoms, and of them that oppressed you. So, lock in, bear with me real quick. Let me look at something. So Mizpah was a town in Benjamin, if I'm not mistaken. Verse 18, and said unto the children of Israel, Thus said the Lord Yahweh of Israel, I brought up Israel out of Egypt, and delivered you out of the hands of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of all the kingdoms, and of them that oppressed you. And ye have this day rejected your God, who himself saved you out of all your adversaries, meaning enemies, and your tribulations, and ye have said unto him, Nay, but set us a king over us. Now therefore present yourselves before the Lord by your tribes and by your thousands. And when Samuel had called all the tribes of Israel to come near, the tribe of Benjamin was taken. When he had caused the tribe of Benjamin to come near by their families, the family of Mathri was taken, and Saul the son of Kish was taken. And when they sought him, he could not be found. Therefore they inquired of the Lord. So basically, Saul was just hid. You know, he was probably in his chambers, in his dwelling place. Therefore they inquired the Lord further, that the man should yet come thither. And the Lord answered, Behold, he hath hid himself among the stuff. Verse 23, and they ran and fetched him thence, and when he stood among the people, basically Saul hid because he was a little nervous. You know, he's about to be anointed king over Israel. You know, who knows what was going through his mind. Verse 23, and they ran and fetched him thence, and when he stood among the people, he was higher than any of the people, from the shoulders upwards. Saul is a very tall dude. And Samuel said to all the people, See ye him whom the Lord hath chosen, that there is none like him among all the people. So there is nobody like Saul. And all the people shouted and said, God save the king. So all of Israel shouted. You know, they said, Yahweh save the king. So basically, what that meant, they were saying, Long live the king, you know. That's what they were basically shouting. Verse 25. Then Samuel told the people the manner of the kingdom, and wrote it in a book, and laid it up before the Lord. And Samuel sent all the people away, every man to his house. So that's how you know that the words of the Lord is written by the prophets. It said, and wrote it in the book, you know. That's just proving that the Bible is not written by a so-called white man. But that's another topic. And Saul also went home to Gibeah, and there went with him a band of men, whose hearts Yahweh had touched. But the children of Belial said, How shall this man save us? And they despised him and bore him no presents, but he held his peace. So you have wicked Israelites that were like, Yo, to hell with this man, Saul. We're not giving him nothing. We don't want him king over us. And so, we're going to read in the next chapter. Salak, I need some tissue. Let me go get some tissue. Come on, Salakia, Israel. This is 1 Samuel chapter 11, verse 1. Then Nashad the Ammonite came up and encamped against Jabesh Gilead. And all the men of Jabesh said unto Nabash, Make a covenant with us, and we will serve thee.